episode 6. We took a week off and they bring us back and have a real estate agent, one of the real estate agents, buy a damn house. Ramsey, is that a sign of desperation? They couldn't find buyers? I mean, what? That was weird to me.
Man, I think, well, first of all, real estate agents have to buy houses too. I mean, it's not like, I don't know. I think it's probably a little bit of both. You know me, I'm always going to give the other real estate agents credit, not go too crazy, but it does feel a little bit like a reach maybe, but I mean, he even said, Jonas said in the show, he's been looking for 5 or 6 years, I think, off and on. And in this market, nothing that they said in there isn't indicative of what we're going through in this market. So, um, I, like a lot of the social media comments and stuff, I would like to see, we've talked about it on here, I'd like to see the actual clients get a house and know that they did. But I did some research. We'll talk about some of that stuff in particular, and just a little bit more about the show. So the show. So this was episode
6.
number 6, and it was called Clash of Legends. And HGTV summed it up by saying, the broker becomes the client as Jonas and his wife enlist his brother Justin to find their dream home at the lake. Newcomer Amanda needs Sierra's help to break into the Lake of the Ozarks and find her ball player client a luxury house.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk
Well,
about it.
and by ball player, we mean basketball player. I did some homework on Lorenzo, and he's a professional basketball player. Went to Illinois State and then played overseas. Not NBA professional, but that doesn't mean anything less, as he probably has still made millions. I don't think we should. I'm not going to get into what I did find. You can do your own research, but interesting characters once again that they have found. And by interesting, I think there's the quote unquote controversy about why they chose Peggy. Which should we tease that? What's coming? Should we wait till the end of what's coming? Um,
Uh, let's
okay,
let's
all right,
wait a
all right.
little
But it's
longer.
something fun on the next episode. But you know, I thought it was interesting, man. I think the whole meeting between Sierra and Amanda, and by the way, at On the Rise, which got zero, it got visible or visual shout out, but not anything verbal. Probably one of the best one of the best bougie breakfast places you can eat at anywhere, and it happens to be at the lake, which I thought was cool that they met there. But it was an interesting. I was cringing, dude, when I was watching that conversation and listening to Amanda ask questions, thinking to myself, I'm not even a real estate agent at the lake, but how do you not know some of the things that she was asking? And it made me just wonder: is this made for TV? Is she really wanting to crack in there, or was she added as an intentional element into the show? I don't know. What do you think?
So um, we were all new real estate agents at one point. Um, and I say that because much of the conversation that Sierra and Amanda had at On the Rise is conversations I've had with other local agents when I was first getting in the business.
You didn't know. Wait,
Um,
let me stop you right there.
like
You didn't
no,
know that homes at the lake
no,
had docks.
no, not that
Okay.
particular
Okay.
part. Let me back up. Let me. There is a bit of a wall built around Lake of the Ozarks in the real estate space. There are a lot of agents that are like Amanda that want to help their St. Louis clients, Kansas City clients, that sort of thing. Um, I will give 110% credit to Amanda for wanting to um, be a to have a mentor like Sierra, because the problem that is ran into, and what I say all that for is like when I got my license, and then I was like, hey, I want to start doing stuff at the lake. I already knew the answer to some of the questions that Amanda had for Sierra, but a lot of agents with experience and that sort of thing around the lake handled it the same way Sierra did, because agents just come here and they don't have anything. It's not that they're not legally allowed to sell. Sierra touched on it. Like, if you're an agent in St. Louis, you don't have access to the MLS here, which not means you also don't have access to
That part
lockboxes,
of it I
those sort of
got. That
things.
part I get. That's logical.
It was a bit frustrating that Amanda didn't know anything about the lake. Um, so yeah, that was a little bit of an eye opener. I thought Sierra handled it well. I've dealt with agents down here that are like, I'll pay you a referral fee and I'll help your client. And so it is a tough nut to crack, which I actually kind of like that they've went that angle in this show, because like, I mean, like I said, when I 5, 6, 7 years ago, like when I got my license and I was like, hey, I want to join the Lake of the Ozarks board. Like the first few months of me calling and, requesting a showing or more information, like people didn't like it. And it's weird in the real estate world. And I don't think people understand this, but when you get a real estate license, the state says you can sell anywhere in the state. The local associations and are kind of the gatekeepers as to the data and the stuff like that. So what those two went through was real life. I mean, that's kind of what happens, and I don't blame Sierra a bit for kind of having her guard up, because there's agents. I had a listing here, and there was a St. Louis or a Kansas City agent that never once went to the property. They had their clients were at the lake for the weekend, and they were in Kansas City, and they asked me to show it for them. My job as a listing agent is to get the property sold. So of course I was like, yeah, I'll meet you there. But
Yeah.
it's a struggle, because they I think real estate agents see some of the price tags and they understand the commissions, and then they want to do it. Um, it's just there's a certain way to go about it, and I think Sierra handled it well. And props to Amanda for making it worth Sierra's time and asking
Yeah.
questions and learning, because she could have just said meet me there and open the door and put her clients in a bad
I
situation.
kind of wish she
I think
had.
she handled it right.
It,
You're the one always talking about 4 clicks
I
and for the
mean,
TV and
but
and the ratings.
just the and it actually both of them last night, because I texted you this, and you know I don't know Justin or Jonas, but I don't think that the portrayal of a real estate agent is very favorable with that interaction yesterday. And I'm guessing that that's probably just his personality. And I'm talking about Justin. Him and Jonas are very different. You can tell. I did giggle when he shanked the tee shot. He's the one who made the bet, and then clearly doesn't play golf based on that shot. Um, but just the way that kind of went down was just like it's either completely made for TV, which I think a lot of people, based on comments online, are agreeing with, or maybe that's just the way he is, and it's just kind of a sense of humor, and he's just kind of a joker, and that's how it goes. But then went over to the Amanda one, and she takes him to this house, and I loved it because Lorenzo like didn't pull any punches, like no, like he was just like no,
No.
like and so other episodes they just kind of beat around the bush, and it's like they clearly aren't going to buy the damn house, move on. But the way Amanda
Right.
originally was like almost tried to talk her way around not having a doc, and I'm like, just stop talking right now. There's no talking around this one. But hey,
I think back to your Jonas and Justin part, the reaction from people immediately, even you saw in some of the posts, were like, well, if my real estate agent would have acted like that towards me, but like, I think HGTV probably could have done a better job of clearly showing that that
Yeah.
was two brothers and one brother was helping his other brother. And so it's like
Yeah.
pay attention, and then you can
That
understand the
part didn't bother me
dynamic.
because I know they're
Like,
brothers. So it just seemed to me like brotherly interaction. So yeah, you're right. If somebody
right,
didn't get that, they're honestly, as a viewer, you're not paying that close of attention and pay more attention.
right. Yeah. Um, well, let's talk about that first house, particularly that Jonas and his wife went and checked out. So um, we knew Jonas's budget was somewhere around 500,000. Justin takes him to a 750. Um, I, to be honest, like watching it, I kind of thought I saw their mind change a little bit. For a second, I kind of thought that it was, hey, ultimately they know each other. They know the ins and outs and the stuff that probably you don't always know about your client. You know what I mean? Like, so I kind of thought maybe they were going to change their mind, but um, so that house was in Lake Ozark off of Duckhead. It was listed at 750. Guess what it sold for?
Let's for 750. I'm gonna say 725.
Wrong. I wish I had a horn. I would just lay on it right now. It sold for
Whoa!
650.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, sold for 650. Awesome location by water. Really cool house with a big view, great cove.
What mile marker was that
It
on?
was
Did
a
they
little
say?
different. It's roughly. Give me just a second here. You keep talking,
Yeah, I
and I'll look
mean,
it up.
that I was actually going to say at first was, wow, is that an indicator of that the market has come back quite a ways? Um, that's 100K, man.
Well, I
That was either drastically overpriced or the market has settled down substantially.
um, so Highline is the 1 mile marker of the main channel of the Osage Arm. When that house, so give you an idea here, that house was listed in it was on the market 149 days and it sold in February of this year. So Justin had the listing. Um, nothing screams, not included. No, nothing screams. I would say it's a little bit of both. That house in particular was it had a niche buyer. It didn't have a garage. They even made comments a little bit about
Yeah.
the driveway. So square footage wise and view and location, it was probably worth it. This one where it goes down to one of those houses where you got to find the buyer that can handle not having a garage or can build one, or they don't mind a little bit of a
Yeah.
steep driveway or something like that. So I don't think it's indicative of the market. I mean, that was winter time, listed what, back in October. Uh, yeah, so I would say more a little bit of just the functional obsolescence, I think is the official word on that. Functional aspect of the house with the driveway and that sort of thing. It just
Man,
took the
you're
right
really
buyer.
smart.
All right, pay
Was
attention
that
sometimes.
the
Think like
house
Dory.
where
Yeah.
they were talking about doing the sumo wrestling with pillows in the basement, or was that the second one? Okay,
That
I'll
was the
leave my
second one.
comment to that one to the
That was the
second till we
second
get to
one.
that house. Then
Okay, so let's go on then. So the second house that they looked at, um, you knew the minute they walked in the front
yeah,
door
it
they were
seemed right.
buying that one. Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about it before, but as a real estate agent, like it's weird. Like you can see people's reaction. Like the minute they start talking about like a holiday, you're like the pendulum's swinging. And they talk about a holiday or they specifically mention a kid in a bedroom or something like that. And it's really cool. That neighborhood is called Foxhead Shores, and that's in Lynn Creek. So it's right between Osage Beach and
Good
Camdenton.
spot.
Um, Very picturesque. They did a great job on the show of showing that neighborhood. And what's really cool about that neighborhood is they do have that community dock, and you're kind of up in the trees, so to speak. But yeah, because I looked, and I think there were only 6 properties sold in Foxhead Shores in the last. Let me just pull it up again. Sold that subdivision, Foxhead, and there was in the last year. Actually, I'll go back 2 years because they don't come up very often. There's only 6 houses sold in that subdivision in the last 2 years, and they ranged in price from 799, which was actually lakefront in that subdivision, to 342.9.
It's
So
only
cool
like 20
spot,
homes in that little area. I think the subdivision goes deeper,
right?
it goes farther up the hill, but the homes like down by the lake, with Old Mine Circle there and Cedar Crest Drive. That's a neat little community. I mean, personally, I want to be able to walk out to my dock. That's why I want to own at the lake. But
Right,
I feel like somebody like that who's probably a lifer at the lake, it's less important to them. And yeah, I mean it's got
right.
it's community pool, I think, a community tennis court. I mean that's a good spot.
Yeah, there may be a
I think so.
clubhouse in that community as well. So again, it's a really cool property. I think it was kind of fun to dive in a little bit more deeper into the negotiation side when Justin, Jonas, and Peggy sat down at the kitchen table or whatever at Peggy's house, um, and kind of see how that went. Justin and Jonas brought up some good points, needed some
I mean
updates, that sort of
that was the
thing.
hokey part of it to
But
me. Um, but
yeah,
but at
I
the
could
same
see
token,
that.
I kind of wondered, is this real or is this made for TV? Because Justin clearly went in there and was playing the game, the negotiation game. And we all
Right.
knew he was going to come in at full price. So it's kind of weird and awkward watching them go back and forth. But at the same token, maybe that was reality. Um, I did like that part of it. I like that they kind of seemed to almost get a little agitated. By the way, was that at Peggy's house? Is that what I heard? They were at Peggy's house.
I,
Well, then
yeah,
I was wondering to myself,
yeah,
why does
yeah.
Peggy have such a nice house and Jonas is buying a relatively less expensive
Hey,
house?
nothing wrong with being modest, man. And not that Peggy's not being modest. We don't know. Peggy family entertaining, likes to do some of that stuff. Um, I think there's an opportunity for us to get to know Peggy a little
Oh,
bit better.
oh, tell me more.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really excited. There's actually going to be an opportunity to get to know
Oh,
all of
oh,
them better, but Peggy first. Peggy first. Yeah, we hinted at it a little bit last week, and schedules are getting a little tough, and then we had a week break. So, but yeah, I think we got Peggy scheduled for
yeah,
what, the 29th. So we'll get her reaction and some of her um, insights next week when we record. So I'm excited for that. We still got a couple of the sellers that we want
buyers,
to
buyers.
get
Oh,
interviewed.
yeah,
The
one
sellers, the
seller,
seller,
which,
one
which, by the
seller, the
way, the
shitbox.
shitbox and Kaiser, they showed Kaiser's doc on this show and gave it a price tag
Yeah,
of 400K, which I thought was interesting. That they gave that doc more
right.
love in that
So,
episode than they did on the actual episode where they were selling the house. Um,
God, it's fun watching you get fired up
well,
over
and
that.
you know what else I was thinking? I
Like,
was thinking that it was out of their price point. Never mind. I was actually thinking that house was perfect for
you're
like Lorenzo and his wife, but then again, they were only 1.2 million, so never mind.
you're gonna die on
I'm
that
gonna.
sword, aren't you?
No.
You're gonna
I'm not
fall
gonna
on
die
that
on it.
sword.
We're gonna sell that house. We're gonna sell that house.
Well,
And
I
I'm not even a
think
real estate agent. I don't even give a shit. I
I
don't
think
even get a
this is.
commission. I just
You just want to see it
yeah,
get the
I
value
do.
that it's worth, and I get it. Um, let me have some
Right.
marketing fun with that property,
Oh,
and
by the way,
I think
well,
that'll
yeah,
be a
for
good
sure on
time.
that one. On the second home that I did want to say, which I thought was really interesting that they kept in the episode and didn't cut out. If you noticed, they went downstairs. They were talking about the sumo wrestling, and Justin made the comment, "Your sons would kill each other." And I was thinking to myself, man, that could really offend some people. Like, and I know that's loose. It's not like that's
Right.
just normal talk, like between brothers or friends or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, we're such a soft world that it surprised me. I'm thinking to myself, ooh, man, I probably would have cut that out of the episode. But hey, keeping it
Yeah.
real.
Hey, I mean, after some of that stuff, that's what you kind of equated it to was the big buzzword a few years ago of locker room talk. You
True.
know, so we'll see. I don't know. It. It is funny. I guess we'll follow up on that. So I looked, in that house that we're all assuming that Justin
Jonas.
purchased
Jonas.
sold for
Jonas.
480,
Yeah.
or Jonas purchased, excuse me, sold for 480.
Which is exactly what the
So
offer was.
I want
480,
to
5,000 back. Okay, go on.
right. So I want to talk about that a second. So social media and reactions to this show. Um, I get a kick out of reading them and following along on the commentary. And for those of you who don't know or haven't seen it, there's multiple Lake of the Ozarks groups on social media. And so last night during the show, I put out a post and I said, "Hey, did Jonas buy a house? Where what are you thinking of the show?" Just to get some dialogue started. And it's really funny to watch the consistency of the public saying how the show is fake, and the rumors that they hear or have heard from other people about the show. So much to the point of one commenter, I made sure to get him to basically finally say, "I don't know what I'm talking about." Because it was like, "Well, that's fake." And I said, "So how do you know?" And he's like, "Well, I heard from another show." And I said, "Oh, so from this show at Lake of the Ozarks, you know it's fake." "Well, no, it's a reality show. They're all fake." So there's the assumption and the inability for people to make rational thoughts or decisions is always funny, and I get a kick out of it. Um, I want to read a couple of the comments that I got on here. So fakest part of the show, and I was it Jonas buying a house. Um, then let's see here. We got. I did tell one lady I still
Yeah, I
believe
saw
in
that. That was
Santa
good.
Claus,
That was good.
so
Actually, her
that was
response was I
pretty
thought that
fun.
that would elicit a laugh, and it was like almost like she was annoyed with you for saying that or something.
And then we got another one. Gentleman says, "Couldn't continue. 2 episodes was enough. Terrible TV and poor representation of our area." And then somebody follows it up and says, "I totally agree. It came across that we were recovering drug dealers
Oh
and
gosh.
alcoholics. I'm disappointed in the lack of professionalism and production of this show. The lake is a beautiful place to live and should be represented as such." When have they not shown it as a beautiful place to live? I'm I'm still digesting that comment. I'm sorry, Karen, but I disagree with you because they've shown beautiful lakefront homes, they've shown beautiful drone footage, they've shown beautiful restaurant. Like I don't want to use the word beautiful anymore because they've
Yeah.
done it all. Um, let's see here. We making this was fun. Making it too much of a reality show. Don't need so much about the realtor. Well, uh, it's about the realtor and the client. So I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like they do make it that much. I mean, they show about the realtor and kind of the back end
I mean,
side.
the
So
only
I
one
don't
they've
know.
made
They
it
didn't
about
really.
was more Peggy. In this particular show, the
Yeah.
realtor was the buyer, so they had no choice. I did think that was interesting, but at the same token, as you said in the beginning, realtors have to buy homes too. So maybe it was just a good opportunity that it just so happened that they got serious at that time. It's almost like people just can't just accept or be happy with things, and we have to find something to bitch about. Now, I do think there's a lot of truth to that.
Oh, you're 100% right, but you also don't really get to bitch about it if you're not watching it and actually making rational or intelligent thoughts. Like you can say, I don't like the way so and so talks to their client. If you watch it and they disagree, great, but you can't say like the one gentleman or the one lady said that it's not made the lake beautiful. Like that's not correct. like like no, no, that's not how this works. We had some other comments. Yes, they did, in referring to Jonas buying a house. Love the show. We are in Warsaw and we have room up here. So for those of you who want some of the stuff that Warsaw offers, a little bit more rural, a little bit more private, a little bit more scenic, calmer waters, shallower waters, less places to eat on the water, less shopping. Warsaw in that area's got it. So those are things. We had one. This was my favorite. SMH. That's all they commented. SMH.
For those not in the know,
Okay.
shake my
For
head.
I mean, left and right, right to left, up and down.
Touche. Touche.
Like, why? Why are you shaking your head? Here's another one. We're loving the show, has an entertaining element to it, but it frustrates me while the realtors seem to not listen to what their customers are asking for. At the same time, it's fun to see all the quirky and beautiful houses around the lake you'd never see otherwise. There, that's what this show's about. like, like we don't have to make it
Yeah.
so hard, you know?
Amen.
Let's see. On the Rise restaurant, we got some talk about that. Here's one. I hate to see this crap on TV exploiting Lake of
Exploiting.
the Ozarks. Just my
Exploiting.
personal opinion, but I had always hoped that the Lake of the Ozarks would be a place where people could
Oh
come to
God.
boat.
Here we go.
They do. Fish. Just had Big
Yeah.
Bass Bash last weekend. Eat. Pretty sure all the restaurants are open now for this time of year. And drink. I I can't throw a rock and not hit a place
Yeah.
to have a cold drink. And truly live the life of the Ozarks as it was meant to be, not so GD
Mm.
commercialized.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
D-
And your response was?
I said, they painted a paradise. They painted paradise and put up a
Yeah. Can
parking
you
lot.
sing that next time? Can you just
I
sing
felt
it
like I
instead
needed.
of say it?
I felt like I needed a Counting Crows reference in there. Um, and then, of course, then you get commentary of people saying it's too late. And then, of course, I want to have a little fun. And I said to one lady, I said, it's a disgrace that there's something for everyone here.
That's
Like,
fun. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay. What, and then, it's fun. I do this to read the comments, but then you get guys like, shout out to Jeff Lister. Jeff Lister, I don't know you. I think you'd be a fun person to hang out with. Jeff says, I don't understand why everyone is hating on the show. It is just for entertainment. I think it's great that they draw some attention to our community. I find it hard to believe how many people in the States don't even know that the Lake of the
Facts.
Ozarks exists. A lot of you complain about the boom that the lake is experiencing. This is just the natural growth of a tourist area. Tourism drives the revenue here, whether any of you like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeff, how dare Jeff
Yeah.
bring a
Must
rational
be his
thought
first
into
name. He
this
must be a
conversation?
dumbass like me.
No, Jeff, I owe you a beer.
It
It's a
is.
beautiful comment. Almost
Yeah.
brought a tear to my eye. That's what this
Dude,
show
the
is.
fact that people like humans struggle with change and they struggle with the evolution of time. And when you really stop and think about it, every single one of those people is a hypocrite who says, I wish I could go back. Are you carrying around a cell phone in your pocket? Are you? Then shut up. Because you know what? You should have a phone. You should even have a phone. You should go back to when pigeons used to carry messages. Like it's called an evolution of time. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. And like find the good in shit rather than bitch about it. Or here's an idea, Ramsey. Move to Table Rock. And guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen at
Right.
Table Rock? It's going to evolve.
It's
And
going
guess
to.
what table rockers are bitching about right now? All of the wakeboard boats. And guess what else is going to come? Go fast boats and other things are going to come. And then everybody's going to move to fuck, who knows, man? Go to Canada. Jeez, people.
One thing that is kind of funny, and I've had this banter back and forth in some of these comments, but I'll read this one. I want to know why they are purposefully showing homes that are exactly opposite of what was requested. I can't find anything good about this show. No wrap up on any search, and just drama for drama's sake. Incredibly disappointed. Could have been such a magnificent way to show off the lake. Okay, let's go back. First, people don't know what they want till they see it a lot of times. Sure, there are people that say, I want 1,600 square feet and I want no steps and I want a dock with this size slip. And you do everything you can to find it. But as you meet them and you talk to them, you realize that there's things that they don't consider that a real estate agent knows or sees. So it's quite often they don't actually know what they want, and it's our job to put all of the options in front of them because it may check off 3 or 4 boxes and not 4 or 5, but it also another option may check off 7 or 8
Yeah.
boxes and not one. And they realize we weren't so focused on the boat size because we can buy a new dock or vice versa. Second, she said what did she said could have been I'm not even gonna could have been such a magnificent way to show off the lake. Again, they're doing that every episode.
Yeah.
Every episode they talk about something different at the lake. So, but my favorite one, and I need to find it here, so give me just a second. My favorite comment from, and keep in mind, I posted this during the airing of the show, and it's now the next day, and we've had all of this commentary over a simple post. But I got blocked
Really?
because I asked a lady, she said that didn't understand why real estate agents from outside of the area come down here when we have so many good real estate agents as it is. And I simply asked her if she was ever new at her job, and she blocked me. So
You're such a troll, dude. You're such a troll.
I mean, like everybody's new. Like you don't go into any job on day one
Yeah.
and know everything. And you also maybe are scaling your business. Or maybe you have
Yeah.
plans to move here. Or maybe your best friend wants you to help them. It's okay, folks. We're gonna be okay. So that's my rant. Um
Let's get back to the show.
yeah.
We got two more houses to talk
Okay.
about.
Okay. What do you want to start
Well,
on? Which ones?
I think we've covered Justin and Jonas. So let's get over to the retired Lorenzo Gordon and his wife Simone, which
Okay.
was we talked about
So
Amanda meeting Sierra.
right.
The first
Than the
house,
first house.
which was a
Definitely
nice
not the.
house. Actually, it was a great house, great view, great everything. But when somebody tells you they want a dock, that means they want a dock. I don't know. I guess you know, not being Lakers, which I guess Lorenzo did sound like he had plenty of experience going to the lake. Simone, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's something to be said for privacy and maybe not having a dock and then having to drive to your dock, which I think they said was 2 miles. So that is a little long. I think half a mile is more realistic in a golf cart because, I get what he says. I don't want to have to get in my car to get on my boat. And I don't blame him. I
Mm-hmm.
actually, frankly, agree. But, that I'm trying to think of what the negatives to that. Oh, that kitchen was really small too. The kitchen was incredibly small
Yeah.
for a $1 million
Yeah.
house. That surprised me.
Yeah, and I apologize. I never even looked that one up. I think I was much like the clients. Like once I saw the view and realized it didn't have a dock, I was kind of like, meh. Did have an amazing view. Amazing. It had a pool. But if you pay attention to what Sierra said specifically, I believe that house had no legal lake access.
I didn't catch that.
Didn't have any the nothing. Like it didn't have a community spot that the HOA owned. It didn't have anything. So those folks would have had to lease a dock slip, and that's leasing a dock slip's like leasing an apartment. They can kind of change it whenever they want. They can raise your rates. They can do all that. So definitely not a
Yeah,
fit.
but that's not uncommon. That's not uncommon.
Given,
I mean, we were looking at homes off the lake in Old Kinderhook at one time, and we would have had to rent one of the
right?
Kinderhook docks. Now they were incredibly expensive. At least that's what was relayed to us, which turned it off to us. We were like, no way. But
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't a deal killer for us because we were going to exchange a waterfront lot for a view. Something to be.
Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, that one was quickly not a good fit. Amanda tried hard. It was her first lake
Yeah.
house. I mean, again, back to some of those Facebook comments. Like all the credit in the world goes to Amanda for trying and learning it and being willing to
Can't
help.
argue that.
I think even Lorenzo's wife mentioned that Amanda had helped her buy multiple commercial or multiple investment properties. So they had a relationship with this lady, with Amanda. They wanted to continue
Yeah.
working with her. Like all
Yeah.
the right things were
Yeah.
done.
Other than
So
on the second house, that the thing that was goofy to me was how she goes in and immediately the deal was off, and then the deal came back on. The deal was off because of the master bedroom, which I don't blame them. It was not a master bedroom by any stretch. But what I thought was interesting from an experienced real estate agent is I assume she did a walkthrough of the house prior to them showing up and would have already immediately said, this is the master. However, you wait till you see a bedroom downstairs, could easily be the master, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. That turned me off a little bit.
I think it was a little bit of gamesmanship. I think, again, going back, we don't know the relationship without cameras that Amanda had with them. Because that house checked off literally every box they wanted once they saw the second master or primary suite. So like I think she was playing. And I'd probably do that too to some clients. Like because we don't see the text back and forth of what was said or what. However, what was interesting is that I don't believe they purchased.
And they were going to make a full
house.
price offer, according to the show.
They were going to make a full price offer. So currently, as of today, let me pull it back up so I tell you exactly, good information. Hold on just a second. That house is in Chimney Point. That house was at some point listed for $949,000. and sold for 920,000.
And it was listed on the show for like 1025. Is that what it was?
One
Yeah.
million twenty-five
Huh.
thousand. So
What happened? This is probably a good way to end this episode. Is once again going back to the comments about how people are saying the show sucks because it portrayed the lake. No, no, it doesn't. It's there's nothing wrong with it. The reason why the show needs improvement is because it doesn't finish the stories. The storylines just end
yeah,
without finishing, and so it's like I want a richer story. I want more, and then I want
right,
some endings. It doesn't have to be happy endings. I just want endings. Like what happened? And you and I were
right.
talking off air
Every
before we started this. Well, did Jonas get the house? Did Lorenzo get the house? I mean, and I bet you, I actually already know this because it teased the next episode. It's not even going to be with those buyers.
right. Yeah, I think if we've talked about it, I think that's my biggest complaint of the show is we're not getting an end. These stories that's you don't want me to sing, but I keep thinking of that song. The book is still
I actually do.
unwritten,
I
or
actually do
however
want you to
those
sing,
words
and so does
go.
everyone watching this.
Standing or staring at the
Oh
blank page
man,
before this. This show is that song. Like this show is that song, and I think again it is frustrating because it's like just like finish it for us. Let us see champagne bottles popping. Let us see pictures, and maybe we've got what, like 2 episodes left.
you know better than I do.
I think
I thought
I
there was
think
more than
there's two
eight,
episodes left.
but I could be wrong.
I originally thought there was
Hmm.
11 total, but I believe. Hold on, let me pull this up here. Let me see here. There are there are 8 total episodes. We have 3 left. No, no, excuse me. We have 2 left. Cheer Challenge, which was supposed to be episode 6, but I believe now goes to episode 7. Clash of Legends was last night, and then Main Channel Mansions. So, so yeah, it looks like there's 8 total shows.
Hmm.
We're
I
through
wonder if that's a
6.
bad sign, or if there's a
We've got
bad
two
sign or a good
left.
sign, or or no sign.
Man, I sure hope. I hope for our sake that they renew
That
it.
doesn't mean we have to stop. We can still find things to talk about.
True. I wanna go back here. Give me just a second because I do have a couple of other social media comments that I want to share. These this is the best part, to be honest. Like this is my favorite part. Is anyone else watching the Lake of the Ozarks show Lakefront Empire? Last night's episode saw a man buy a resort on Lake of the Ozarks that he's going to turn into a nudist swinger resort. Angered me so much to see him bringing that crap here.
Where have you been? Oh, that's funny.
Well, but like he didn't
That's
bring it to
funny.
your
That's
house.
funny.
If he bought
Hey,
it, he
hey,
brought it to his
can you
own
please
private
reply to that
property.
person and say, "Have you ever been to Party Cove?" Especially 20 years ago. Have you ever been to Party Cove like 20 years ago?
Here's another one. This is awful. Now they were looking for property to put nudist swingers resorts. We look like Sodom and Gomorrah hillbilly style. Then we have one side of the coin. Person says, because it is, which is or isn't, I don't know. Then we have a rational
Was
person
it Jeff
enter the
again?
conversation and says, no, 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 no. I need to look up this person. This lady says they had one here for decades. Again, this HGTV show is not giving a very good impression of the lake. Says
Yeah.
who? Sue.
Hmm.
Sue says it's not. Ugh. This Ozark HGTV show. It's not called Ozark. It's called Lakefront Empire. This podcast is Lake Ozark Empire or Lakefront Empire Unpacked. Ugh. This Ozark HGTV show. Can it get worse? They seriously just showed the realtor leaning over, scratching his butt while trying to find the client.
What was that?
I don't remember. Probably didn't really
That's
happen,
funny.
but again, I'm here. If you guys are watching this and you like these, I can continue to screenshot these comments or and share them because I think there's a lot of gold in here. I think there's a lot of things we can dive down into and kind of check out. But again, we've my biggest complaint of the
Tell
show.
us.
We still have only had 2 actual purchases.
Which besides the boat,
A
which are you
boat,
talking about?
a
But do
Jonas
we? But
buying a house.
that's not valid. That's not verified. I mean, that's not verified on the show.
It's not verified on the show, but through critical thinking
You
and
don't do
deductive
that.
reasoning. You're right, I know. Sometimes, maybe once in a while. We know that two things were bought and sold on this show so far. And but again, it goes back to what you were saying. Like, just give us a beginning, a middle,
Yeah.
and an
Jeez,
end.
it's so freaking hard.
And we'd feel a lot better about it. What I really do feel better about is next week's episode. So if you stumbled across this and you don't know how or why, hit the subscribe button below, follow the page, follow the podcast. We got Peggy coming next week. It's booked. It's done, ready. Peggy's going to be on. Peggy's going to give us all of the nitty gritty leading up to the final episode of the season. So I'm pretty stoked.
Do you
for
think that I am going to ask her the tough questions that that she deserves?
that? I think you are.
You think she's going to hate me? You think she's going to hate me at the end of that episode?
No, I think she's gonna be a gamer.
Good.
I think she's here for it. I got all the respect in the world
I
for
agree.
somebody that can go on national TV and say,
Yeah.
I was in prison. And then even further, like talk about her daughter, like it was her son, and not getting to
Yeah.
raise her son, I believe. Like Peggy's
Facts.
stand up in my book. Oh, that was another comment. Peggy is annoying. That was one
I
of the
mean,
comments. And I just
teach their own. I mean, there are. I'm sure there's plenty of people watching us right now thinking we're annoying too. So
if you do, let us
Yeah, I
know.
do.
Like I want an opportunity to troll back and forth in the comments. Like,
Bring it on.
let's have some fun. This is all just something for us to do and talk about and give you a different perspective. And I'm having a blast
same.
doing it. So it gives me it's really odd watching HGTV at 9:00 every Monday night. It was never on my bingo card.
No, not mine either.
Like,
Not mine
didn't
either.
think it was, but prepping for this helped me get over the Lakers loss last
They
night.
did indeed.
So
Yeah, sorry about that.
yeah. So yeah, I'm Ramsey,
Oh yeah,
real estater. This is Jeff.
maybe that would help.
Jeff right here, Jeff Fitzer. Yeah, Jeff Fitzer with Fitzer Media. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for commenting on our posts and engaging with us. We're having a good time. Next week, Peggy. See ya.